Hey guys, I'm Jennifer. Some of the people that I help, I see so much of myself in them that I know how to get them out. I can see what they don't see, and I can hear what they're saying and what they mean behind what they're saying. A lot of times you guys already know the answer. I'm just explaining what my coaching services are and how it works. And it's not, someone asked me, so what are your services all about? Like, do you do Bible study? Do you minister? No, this is pure life coaching. And what my job is simply just to mirror back what you're saying that you are missing. Also think about this, and I can relate to this so much. When you have swayed from God for so long, or you just now gave your life to Christ, you died to self, you no longer live for yourself, for your selfish gain, for your pocket, but you live for something greater than you. You have been accustomed to listening to the tempter's voice a lot longer. It has solidified in your mind a lot longer than the voice of God. So when I see the people that I help, they're so hard on themselves, they can be. And this is all a reflection of me. This is exactly me. And I used to be this way. And it's kind of crazy. It's almost unbelievable to me that it's like I can see it so clearly. And I used to speak to myself this way. Like, I used to be very judgmental. I used to be very insecure. I used to be very hard on myself. I used to be so incredibly hard on myself. I used to beat myself up about everything. I did not feel worthy of sharing my thoughts. I did not feel worthy of sharing my feelings, because the longer you have lived in the world, or the longer you have lived with a super selfish person at your close proximity, your mind has actually adapted to a certain way of thinking about yourself, and even a certain way of thinking about the world. You actually end up blaming God for a lot of the things that you should be blaming the tempter for. Everything is so distorted, and when you purify your life, and what that is that you obey God to the T. God asked me, he put me through so many tests. And I don't know if it was him that put me through the test, or if it's the tempter that put traps, because he saw that I was leaving the dark and I was on my way out. So imagine you've been living in a cave for so long, and then you see the light. You start walking towards the light. And the longer you start walking towards the light, that light gets bigger and bigger. Well, the challenges are gonna get bigger and bigger, because he doesn't want you to leave the cave of darkness. And it's not God putting the traps. God is waiting for you on the other side, at the end, at the opening of the dark cave. He's waiting for you. You have to do your part. He doesn't leave you. He's there with you. He's helping you. You have to call on him. Say, God, I cannot do this. Whoa, look at this huge trap. Like a lot of times we don't even recognize the trap. When you're getting closer to the outside of this dark cave, life feels harder and harder and harder and harder. That's why you will get disappointed. People will let you down. Bad things will happen to you. You may get fired from your job. Things can go wrong in your family. People can turn their back on you. They can backstab you. All kinds of things are going to happen. And you have to be like Job, where you remain faithful and confident in God, and that you continue to show God that you absolutely love him with all of your heart, all of your mind, and all of your soul, and nothing is going to make you become separate from God. That analogy is probably, I hope that helped you guys. That is the vision that I received. And the other vision that I receive is that, or maybe not vision, but the message is God wants, once you give your life to Christ, you'll go through sanctification. And I've said this multiple times. Your faith is going to be put to the test, and you have to obey. So it's believing without seeing. It's believing even though you are filled and riddled with doubt, because what you felt the other day, you start to question the visions that you had the other day. Even I had visions of Christ, and it was like, meh. And now that I made it out of the dark cave, and I'm now outside of the cave, and I'm walking out in the world with the light next to me, with Christ next to me, that tempter and all his minions, they leave that cave and they're following me around. They're still trying to trap me into luring me back into going into that dark cave where I lived a life of death. I was lost. I didn't know my purpose. I lived for the approval of other people. I was filled with despair. I had very low self-worth, low self-esteem. I was not confident in shooting videos. I was not confident in posting any blogs. I needed someone to like my stuff for me to feel that I'm doing good. I feared the opinions of other humans. Now, the only opinions that I care is the people that I work for, that are my authority, that I respect, my family, my children, and God. Well, God first. Anybody else, okay, I'll hear it, I'll listen, but it has no effect on my self-esteem, if that makes sense. It no longer directs my actions anymore. I take everything to God now. Hey, God, what do you think? You approve? And sometimes God will say, I don't like, nope, I disapprove. And how you get to know God's voice is through trial and error. There is no easy, quick fix. You have to learn to break and crack that code that only you will figure out, your language, your relationship with God. And once your identity is solid in Christ, you literally feel the power within. I don't know how else to describe it. I know probably that sounds cheesy, but you feel like you have no fear. You have confidence that you only wished you had, and the confidence that you see in other people that felt so weird and strange. Like, how in the heck does that person have that much confidence? You then become that. And once you become that, you're supposed to help other people get there too. It is not for us to be selfish with. God literally calls us and he says, you have to help your brothers and your sisters, especially the believers. Because why? We are the ones that are gonna be attacked the most from the tempter of this world, the people that escaped out of the dark cave. We are huge targets because now we have the power to change our families, our generation, our seed, the 10,000 generations that are coming behind us. We are a huge threat. And the people that are living in the world, or like super duper lukewarm, he's already got them. He's like, yeah, I got them in this little loop. Yeah, I got them. And they just kind of hover and they make sure that, they're still there. The program is still working and they're still following his instructions. And okay, got me another one. But when you have escaped and now you are telling people how to escape, huge target. You're a huge target. But do not be afraid. God says, do not be afraid. For everything that is meant for your harm, I'm going to use for your good. And you're going to help other people because of it. And that's why this life, like the way this life for me feels now, the way I can best describe it is I feel like I live in a different dimension now. I see too much now. I know too much. I can read between the lines. I feel like I could almost read people's minds by just looking at their face and their expression and their gestures. Because if you guys really think about it, nonverbal communication is 80% of our communication. It's 80% of what you see, and then it's 20% of what you hear coming out of that person's mouth. So you really become very aware of where that person is coming from. You're no longer distorted or blind and you believe everything people say. Now you question everything and then you verify everything through Christ. Like, that felt kind of weird, God. What do you think about that? And you verify it through Galatians 6:22. I hope I got that right. I'm trying to memorize scriptures. The fruits of the Spirit. You just sit back and you watch people. You're like, all right, you're cool. I like you. I like your vibe. I like your energy. But it's going to take me a little bit longer to really get to know who you are. And it could take years to get to know someone. So you have to really guard your heart. You have to guard your emotions. Because why? The book of truth says, don't trust your emotions. Why? Because it is the most deceiving thing ever. You will literally lie to yourself. Your emotions will fluctuate. The heart is deceiving. How many times have you met someone and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so in love. And then to find out that they're really not gonna be true to you. They're really not gonna honor you. They're really not gonna treat you with respect. They don't even treat themselves with respect. What makes you think that they're gonna treat you with respect? But you've already fallen in love. So I learned, girl, all them ooey gooey honeymoon feelings, feel them, enjoy it, but they're for you, and they're for you to feel with Christ. So long as you're single and you're not married, you don't just go attach those ooey gooey emotions, those honeymoon, oh my gosh, I'm elated, because you're just so gorgeous and awesome and handsome and etc. Whatever words you want to use that bring about those feelings in your life. You hold up, just hold back and say, okay, I feel this, cool, I like it. Who created these feelings? Who created these feelings inside? Who created this body? God did. So it's okay for me to feel these things, but it's not okay for me to give them away to that person. That person just happened to bring about those feelings. And I will sit back and think of Christ. Like, Christ, thank you so much for these feelings. These feelings really fill my soul. Thank you for creating me this way. Thank you for these feelings that make me feel good and loved and safe and wanted and cherished and chosen, because you have chosen me. You have cared for me. You truly love me. You're my true love. And these feelings that I feel in the flesh, that another person brought them out, you know, that's okay, so long as I stay true to you. So long as I keep my eyes on you and keep my heart fixed on you until you give me the green light to the person that you want me to share these feelings with. You don't start holding hands, you don't start kissing, you don't start doing any of that stuff, because that will blind you. That you're giving into the flesh when God hasn't really given you the green light. So I felt that that was important to say, that this walk, this journey is not going to be easy. God said that we were going to walk through fire, that it was going to get hard. And even living in the world, you're still going to walk through fire, but you're not walking with God when you're living in the world. So you have to choose your troublesome path. They're both, living in the world and living with God, they're both going to have their own burdens. And as I've said before, when you're walking with God, there's promises and hope, and the book where God literally will speak to you. You have a helper. You have someone that loves you so much and that's rooting for you and that is protecting you. Read Psalms 91. No, is it 91 or 96? Psalms 91, 1 through 16 is the prayer of protection. That, you know, if you're having nightmares, if you like, nothing will, you should be afraid of nothing. It's a prayer of protection. When you feel like you're being attacked, which, man, I'm not even gonna lie, like, I'll get my olive oil and I'll put that olive oil on my door. I'll do the cross on my door. I'll put it on me. I'll put it on my kids. I'll, you know, on my pillow, on everywhere. And I will pray that, because I do get attacked. We do get nightmares. We do see demonic spirits in our dreams. And you know, you could wake up shaking and scared, and take a deep breath, relax. What does God say? Don't be afraid of anything. Talk to God about everything. Hey, God, what's up? Like, this is scary. I'm scared. You tell me not to be scared. And so then I dive right into that prayer, and that fear starts to lift off, and I start to feel protected. And you have to be in constant prayer. And it's a way of life. That's why I say that when I see myself, when I help people, it's because you are so used to a certain person, entity speaking into you, and that is not the voice of God. So if you're insecure, if you judge yourself, if you're hard on yourself, that does not come from God. God gives us, he doesn't give us fear. He doesn't pour any of that stuff in our head. What does God pour into us? God gives us the spirit of power, where you feel powerful, confident, like you can do anything in the world. He gives us the spirit of love. Love is kind, love is gentle, love is compassionate, it is forgiving, it does not boast. The only thing you should boast about is God in this life. And he also gives us a sound mind. That means that you don't live in despair, you don't live in depression, you don't live in anxiety. You can worry about stuff, but that worry will like slide off once you take it to God, because you know He's got it. You trust Him. So it takes a lot of work and a lot of practice to get your mind right when you have been accustomed to thinking and operating in a certain way, especially if you're surrounded by people who don't know the way. And a lot of times, you know, we, like I said in my other video, that it can feel lonely because you have to let go of people that you love and adore, but you have to distance yourself from them, because if you don't, they're going to drag you down. They're going to pull you away from God and back into the cave, because, you know, and sometimes people will do this because they see the light in you. Like the way King Saul did with David. He said, oh, that guy has God. Like, I want that guy close to me, because he wants to. Saul lost his anointment with God because he disobeyed God so much that God got angry with him. He's like, I'm whatever, like, you're nothing to me now because you disobeyed me. And King Saul, like, instead of repenting and saying, God, I'm so sorry, I should have listened, you know, please, like, don't leave me, I love you, you know, he continued to disobey and lie. And God is not going to put up with that. So King Saul, he knew that he lost his anointment from anointing. I think, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but you know, he saw David and he's like, oh, and David has God's favor, so I want that guy close to me. But King Saul was living in the cave, and he was like sucking, like piggybacking on David's blessing, like he's anointed, like good things happen to David. That's what that means. Like, you guys know people that they just have like the best luck and they get the best of everything. You're like, what the heck? Why? They have, God has put favor on their life. Don't be jealous. Like, see what, like just be happy for people. Say, oh, I hope that person that is being favored by God really honors God, because if they don't, they can, you know, lose it. So there's going to be people like that in your life that they don't have God's favor. Maybe they used to and now they lost it, and they see it in you. They're gonna attach themselves to you because they're gonna try to steal some of that power that you have. So that's why you guys have to be very careful with people who are not walking in the light, and why it feels lonely, because you're gonna have to let go of people that you absolutely love and that you're gonna miss. Even though you can have other people in your life that fill you, that's always fulfilling, but you will have moments where you feel lonely because you miss the people that can't walk with you anymore. That's all that means. But it doesn't mean that you're depressed, you can't go on, you feel like there's death inside of you. It's just more of like a mourning. Like, and eventually you'll accept it, right? But it's still sad. You still have to go through the just letting go phase and leave it to God. Let it go. Let go and let God. And do hang on to the people that are nourishing you, the people that do love God. Like, it's a balance. We are, you know, we're filled with so many emotions. We have to go through each emotion. You have to feel each emotion to its fullest. So if you're not real, like, in tune with emotions, and you can't even name your emotion, like you can't even describe what emotion you are feeling, then go on Google and search up the emotional wheel. And there's 5 core emotions. I'm probably not going to remember them right now, but within these 5 core emotions, there are subcategories. So sometimes people don't even know how they feel because they're so out of touch with their emotions. And then what you do is then you rate yourself. How comfortable are you with the feeling of, let's just say, sadness? Have you accepted this emotion? Are you kind of like a-okay with this emotion, or do you completely avoid this emotion? And then there's a reason behind that. Like, we can really go deep into this. So this is some of the stuff that I, dig deep with people when I work one-on-one. But it's a lot to get into, and every person is very different. But the point of this whole video, and if you haven't followed my channel, I do invite you to follow it if you feel like following it, and share this video with someone that you feel could benefit from this message. Leave a comment down below. I want to know how you guys are doing. I read every comment, and I don't reply to every comment because it's just me. And I start to get that carpal tunnel on my wrist because it's just so much. So I have to be real careful. But I do love to read y'all's comments and y'all's journey and things that y'all have learned, and any insight after walking your walk with Christ. And sometimes, like, I say stuff that triggers something in you guys, and y'all share these most beautiful things, and you share what helped you. Like, these are the 5 steps that I did to beat the loneliness, to get closer to Christ. Like, all of those comments, you guys, they help each other out. Like, they help other people in this community. Sometimes people will just get on these videos just to read the comments because they need to feel that they're not alone. Those are just as powerful as watching a video, is knowing that other fellow followers and believers of Christ are experiencing the same thing. And sometimes you guys will say stuff that I miss, and that you clarify, or that you go deeper into, and someone else reads it, and it will bring a blessing to them. It will lift the load off. So I want you guys to understand that, and to know that your words here in the comment section are so healing for other people. And if you find these words to be true, put it in comments. Yes, when people have left advice or have shared their story, it has helped me heal. You guys are so powerful. We have the power of Christ in us. If you love Christ and you've purified your life and you follow him, you're his. When you are living in him and you are living in his word, then anything that you ask for in his name will come to pass. He will answer if it's part of his will in your life. And do not die. Don't die without asking for everything that you want. Don't ever feel guilty for having wishes, for having desires. God wants to make you happy, especially his children that love him and that follow him and that are obedient. But you have to also be okay with not having it, right? Because a lot of times we will ask for stuff that it's superficial stuff, but that's okay. Ask God for that, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure that you get it, so long as it doesn't get in the way of his will for you. And there's nothing wrong with asking for anything that you want. You want a diamond ring? Ask God, hey God, that would just make me so happy. But if only if you think I'm worthy of it, only if you know it's gonna bring me good. And if I don't get it, that's okay. I don't need it. It's just something I want, but I don't need. I just need you. And that's what I tell God. I can't wait to be with you. I cannot wait to be with you. And I just want you. You are all that I need. Because truly that's all. That's really like what we need. We just need him. And but I understand, we're in the flesh and we're gonna have things that we want, not that we need. And I just don't want you guys to ever feel guilty for asking God for anything that you want. Don't die with wishes unspoken, take it to God and just let him decide. But don't keep silent, okay? I hope this served you guys. I hope that you have so much peace in your heart, and I hope your families are well, and I hope that you feel God's blessing and God's power working in your life. And I do wish for you to be blessed, and I will see you in the next video. Adios.